throwing stolen money everywhere.
In time and space. His thoughts, consciousness, a kind of peace of mind. He experiences himself.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Deciphering My Experience. My name is Eric, and I just wanted to touch on some news that has been getting fired across my bow for quite some time. I guess in the last couple of days, everybody's been chucking me this article, this thing on Antarctica's temperature rising drastically, and scientists can't seem to figure out what's going on down in the seventh continent, the dark continent, which is getting darker by the second as we're getting lighter, because it's opposite side of the equator. But before we get too far into things today, folks, I just want to please remind everybody to subscribe, like, share, and comment. I do appreciate all the interaction with the comments and people sending me articles like this for me to comment on myself, because it's a lot of fun and it helps get disclosure out there and will hopefully teach folks how to use discernment with these articles and the such. But the first one that I want to pull up today, let's see what we got here. So this will be Antarctica, the hot poles. Antarctica and the Arctic, 70 and 50 degrees above normal. Earth's poles are undergoing, a little too far there, simultaneous freakish extreme heat, with parts of Antarctica more than 70 degrees Celsius warmer than average. 70 degrees warmer than average. In areas of the Arctic, more than 50 degrees warmer than average. That was the Arctic. Weather stations in Antarctica shattered records Friday as the region neared autumn. The 2-mile-high Concordia station was at 10 degrees, which is about 70 degrees warmer than average, while the even higher Vostok station hit a shade above 0 degrees, beating its all-time record by about 27 degrees, according to a tweet from extreme weather record tracker Maximiliano Herrera. Wonder if he's ever been to the Antarctic continent. The coastal Terra Nova base was far above freezing at 44.6 degrees. It caught officials at the Snow and Data Ice Center in Boulder, Colorado by surprise, because they were paying attention to the Arctic, where it was 50 degrees warmer than average, and areas around the North Pole were nearing or at the melting point, which is really unusual for mid-March, said the Center Ice scientist Walter Meyer. It's interesting that they want to make it out like these scientists can only focus on one facility at a time. Like they're literally like staring at one facility, and the other ones they can't do anything about unless they can, somehow think about two situations at once. But in regards to the temperature and them not knowing exactly what this is, it's pretty ridiculous, because it's just simply weather, folks. It's Antarctica. It's pretty much the coldest place on Earth if you leave it alone. But you add a little bit of wind, and that's coming from somewhere else. If there's no wind in Antarctica, it becomes this very cold place. But if a storm blows into Antarctica in the wintertime, the storm's coming from somewhere else. So it's warmer. It's just that simple. They are opposite seasons. You don't see the North and South Poles both melting at the same time, as if the southern continent was melting in this conversation. Meyer told the Associated Press Friday evening, "It's definitely an unusual occurrence. It's pretty stunning," Meyer added. "It is neither an unusual occurrence to be breaking temperatures per date," which is very common. We would do this in Antarctica all the time. They'd be announcing every single day that this is the hottest temperature on this date since 1979, or it was the hottest temperature on this specific date recorded in the last 12 years. You have no idea how they play with statistics down there. And this article is just perfect to show that they're manipulating numbers to get everybody all sensationally scared about what's going on when it's just a warm spell blew in on such and such time. Wow, I've never seen anything like this in Antarctica, said University of Colorado ice scientist Ted Scambos, who returned recently from an expedition to the continent. Not a good sign when you see this sort of thing happen, said University of Wisconsin meteorologist Matthew Lazara. Really? I was at the South Pole Station. It seemed fine and dandy, and everything is doing well since then. So I don't know what these folks are talking about. Lazara monitors temperatures at East Antarctica's Dome C-II and logged 14 degrees 14 degrees Fahrenheit Friday, where the normal is minus 45 degrees. That's a temperature that you should see in January, not March. January is summer there. That's dramatic. I wonder if anybody's going to mention the wind speed at any of these locations. The wind speed and what direction? The Antarctic warm spell was first reported by the Washington Post. The Antarctic continent as a whole on Friday was about 8.6 degrees warmer. 8.6 degrees warmer on a whole. Sounds like a storm blew into Antarctica, folks. Sounds like they got a storm, and it warmed things up. I used to see that all the time. It's pretty common. At the same time, on Friday, the Arctic as a whole was 6 degrees warmer than the 1979 to 2000 average. By comparison, the world as a whole was only 1.1 degrees above the 1979 to 2000 average. Globally, the 1979 to 2000 average is about a half a degree warmer than the 20th century average. What makes Antarctic warming really weird is that the southern continent, except for its vulnerable peninsula, which is warming quickly and losing ice rapidly, says the article, has not been warming much, especially when compared to the rest of the globe, Meyer said. Antarctica did set a record for the lowest summer sea ice records go back to 1979, with it shrinking to 741,000 square miles in late February, the Snow and Ice Data Center reported. Interesting. What this article doesn't mention is that the winter ice extremity perimeter of Antarctica has been breaking records. So I don't know how they would correlate that fact to global warming if in the wintertime the winter ice is increasing drastically. So I think what people really need to start paying attention to is the water cycles of the planet and not the atmospheric conditions. The least of the thermal masses in this equation is not really where the answers lie. So if you pay attention to water and the water cycles on this planet, you will learn a lot more about the temperature fluctuations both over long periods of time and short periods of time. Oh, we're having a technical difficulty here. Let's get that wrapped up. Get back to big. Get bigger. Thank you. That's what we call more betterer. Or is it paused? Hey, play, you son of a gun. Huh. Well, what do you know? We're going to run a quick audible here. So since that's number 3, we'll just put you right up. Oh, I'm at number 2. We'll get you back there. All right, we're back to the article. Sorry about that, folks. So they didn't mention that the sea ice is drastically larger now, which is going to really matter a lot. So they really should have mentioned that. Oh, what's going on there? But the next situation with that is that basically they're going to just keep pumping the story that Antarctica is just global warming impacted and there's nothing that can be done about it, and which is a big scam, folks. But we have, all kinds of information that's available to us nowadays, and we can get to the bottom of stuff with much greater ease. And like I've been trying to let everybody know, is that not everything is as it seems. that things can be different, and everybody's always questioning, hey, Eric, how could you know? You know, you're just a plumber. You know, what do you know about Antarctica? Well, here's another interesting angle. All-time record high temperature at the South Pole, December 25th, 2011. Well, folks, that's when I was at the South Pole Station. I was present on 25 December 2011 when a new all-time record high temperature. So, I mean, we're not just talking day temperatures and things like that. This was an actual all-time high for South Pole Station. So, yeah, you know what? I'm pretty familiar with these types of conversations. It's not the first time I've been discussing maximum temperatures on the seventh continent. But here in this article, it says that a new all-time record high temperature was set at the Amundsen Scott South Pole Station. The previous all-time record high was plus 7.5 on 27 December 1978. A listing of available NZSP surface reports is shown below. The maximum temperature actually occurred at 250 UTC. Oh, I skipped over the high there. It was plus 9. And it was previously at plus 7. So I was there on that day, 25 December 2011, and I think I even have a video to show you folks. So get a load of this. That's me. That's what we call a James Way. This is where we slept in summer season, what they called summer camp. And let's roll tape here.
Do another one just for shits and giggles.
So here we are, Christmas. It's bloody hot.
I shouldn't have tried that with a...
Huh. See? Christmas Day, South Pole Station. Make note, the gentleman behind me, his name is David Pablo Cohen. He's an author. He wrote a very interesting book. I imagine that most of you folks would dig it. It's called Heller's Tale, an Antarctic novella. And Pablo's a very good writer. And if anybody out there wants to read a very interesting story, I guess you'd say somewhat based on some truth, maybe not. But the story is about Andrew J. Heller, a welder at the South Pole Station. So if you guys want to have some fun, learn about some discernment, why don't you go over to deciphering.tv, find out the facts about Antarctica, jump into the archives, maybe read a book or two. I think David Pablo Cohen put out a great book for everybody to learn about what it feels like to be at the South Pole Station for a season and go on an adventure. You might dig that book. So I hope everybody understands that all of the information that comes out of Antarctica it's pretty much sensationalized and cherry-picked and then molded and formed so that everybody gets like this echo chamber of information. I'm not saying there's nothing going on with aliens. I'm not saying that there's, nothing going on. I'm saying there's tons going on. There's so much going on down in Antarctica that you need to pay even more attention to the information that's being pumped out of there, because I can only begin to tell you how much it seems like a bunch of gatekeepers are in the mix. And there's a lot of people talking about a continent that they have never been on. And they're talking about having whistleblowers that can absolutely not be verified in any way, shape, or form. So this is the lay of the land currently, folks. You guys all want the truth, but you're going to have to start learning how to apply discernment for the information being presented to you, because if you keep getting led down the wrong path so easily, it's going to be hard for folks like me who have been there, who have the truth, who have the facts, who have supporting documentation and other people to corroborate. It's going to be hard for us to let you know you've been bamboozled. You know, Mark Twain had a famous quote from way back in the day, and he says that it's easier to bamboozle people than to convince them that they've been bamboozled. And when it comes to Antarctica and the South Pole Station proper, folks, you are being bamboozled. There's a directed energy weapons system that's functioning. It's firing at all of us. We, the people, need to have a solid conversation about what's happening on this planet. And we need to get past the gatekeepers. So let's kick in the gates. Let's have some conversations. Let's connect the dots. And I hope everybody has an excellent day. And thank you very much for coming. So long.